Hello Crash Test Dummies, I'm Colonel Failure and you're watching Planet Coaster from my experimental playbox, where we're riding on board, well, one of the trains. That really does go rather vertical, doesn't it? Holy mackerel. Yeah, okay, so maybe not quite as steep in the final build. Anyway, last time around we started working on what will be a centrepiece attraction for Failurewood Hills, and we're sat here for far too long, way beyond what anybody could possibly consider to be entertaining. Although off we jolly well go. Whee! Flipping heck, there goes my lunch. And around the corner, and up, and over. Yeehaw! Yeah, you have to envisage this with a whole bunch of, scenery and so forth. Maybe if I were to drop it by one train, this would work more effectively. Because what we don't want to have is this, right? Where you sat waiting. You don't want to have multiple periods where you sat around waiting for the ride to start doing its thing again at each section. Although that little twizzly bit there, that looks discomforting, disquieting, maybe. Oh, Dave, how are you enjoying it so far? Oh, it's pretty harmless. Pretty harmless. So here we are, still waiting, and any time now we're going to come rocketing around a corner, and this is the point at which everybody has a major spinal injury. Wait for it, here we go, and say goodbye to your neck. Oh, actually that wasn't so bad on reflection. Yes, okay, so we're going to carry on working on this, get off the ride. Because that takes far too long, and stop. There we go. Let's just try it ever so quickly with one fewer train and see how that works. Because in order to make this work, I'm going to have to first get an understanding for what the blocking system actually does. And when I work my way around towards some kind of quote-unquote final build, I'm going to need to do probably quite some track measuring in order to make it work. You see, if both of those released at the same time, that would be quite something. Can you synchronize release? I'm sure you can. Okay, well that's not done it either. It's better, because now you're getting... it's like there's always something in motion, right? So that's pulling up just as the next one leaves. It's not perfect, but it is better. Let's try one fewer train. Number of trains, 4. Right, and activate. And we'll stop mucking around with this and we'll get back to building in just a tick. Let's have a look and see how we get on. Yeah, so that one went straight through there, but it hasn't fully... Once it's completed a full loop or two, we'll get a feel for how it's going. So there's obviously going to be a delay at the main station, which we can mitigate by lengthening the track a little, possibly, or having another block just before the station, so that you can at least launch at the right time. Yes. Okay, right, now then, let's have a look at what those in the trade called the ride synchronizer, because that's a thing. Scenery, yeah, isn't it though? Screens, I was pretty sure it was in here. Display synchronizers. Ride cam time machine. That's part of the new... Well, I don't know if it was part of the patch or part of the DLC, but that allows the onboard camera to always set the time to be a certain time of day, which is kind of cool. Is it the display sequence synchronizer? I would imagine so. Let's plop this in here where I can see it, mostly. Right, thank you. Scenery menu. I'm done with you. Now then, talk to this. Make a trigger sequence. Okay. Right, add a display group. Sure. Connect objects to group. So connect that. Only scenery. To select and connect triggerable scenery. You're not a triggerable anything, are you? You're a ride. No, you connect the scenery up to the ride, because the ride will have triggers on it. Maybe I need to cancel that. Go back to this. Yeah, I'm done with you for now. I'm still done with you. Go away. Talk to the ride. Edit the ride. Are we there? Don't make... Hold on. Select the ride and all sequencer parts, including all sequencer children recursively. Oh, well, anything that will allow me to do something recursive is a big hit in my book. No. Just go back and do a regular edit here. Edit. No. No, no, no. Everything you're doing here is bad. Stop just randomly clicking and think about things for a bit, will you? Stop doing that. Good. Edit the track. Right. Chances are I just missed it, at which point there are people howling. I go, you were like 1 centimetre away from clicking the right thing, you fool. Never mind. Maybe I shall just figure this out using spacing and gravity to make it work. Sure, that could happen. Entry speed, exit speed. No, none of that is in any way helpful. What if we were to speak to this here block section? What I'd like to see is some kind of a link button so that you could link it to something else for a trigger. Alternatively, something that says add ride link. Right? Yeah, something like, you know how I usually do this with jaunty music over the period of minutes while I figure this out for myself properly. Well, this is the unvarnished truth of the situation where we don't do that. Anyway, right, onto the next phase. So here's the second. No, that's the first. Here's the second bit. No, that's the first. That's the first. That's the second. So from the second one, if we start a bit of judicious track removal here. Yep, fine, good. No, leave that alone. We need the station exactly as it is. Oh, hold on. We found a way to make the trains longer. Beautiful. Right, leave that there. And then, unsurprisingly, we're going to do the same thing again. Edit the track. Whatever you just did, don't. Right, so yeah, we go round, and the ideal is that we end up with 4 trains parked up in parallel, and then all ripping off at the same time. By ripping off, I mean all, pursuing the next segment of track. At the same time, weaving in and out of one another in a dramatic and tension-building fashion, which will be sure to delight all ride reviewers the world around. Let's give that a little bit of downward tiltage. There you go. Let's at least make a nod towards making it parallel. And then the trick will then be to through the use of skillful terrain and a little bit of scenery is make the whole thing really rather dramatic. And then there is one more trick to come. So I'm not going to do all 4 stops now. We'll go for 3 and see if I can make that work. But then after that, we'll have I'll do the second. Major surprise that this particular ride brings to the party. Right, add some of that. Up we go. See, already I think this has got merit. Admittedly, it's lacking a little in finesse, but this is just the test case situation. Over the top. And a basic stand. No, you're going to need to give that some momentum. And then right round the corner, and then fling it around in an aggressive fashion. Is that going to? That's going to be a horrendous collision. It'll be written about for many years in horrendous theme park collisions. Series 12. This time, Failurewood Hills. And no, it wasn't part of the park that was built by Stegs. Right, okay, carry on round the corner, you. Come on. That's it. Yeah. I don't think I've left enough headroom there. In fact, that would be a slight understatement. Pull it out that way a bit. And this is why we're not building it in the main park, because right now I'd be going, and we're out of money. So there's another incomplete ride that is just going to sit and fester for a few months while I wait for some cash to build up. Alright, ease that back up. See, if we get the timing right on this, and you're rocketing around here, or even if, you know, say that one goes around first because it's the slightly shorter approach, and then you're coming around immediately after it. As a rider, that should be pretty terrific stuff, I would say. But then I would say that because I'm designing it. Alright, now then, around here and up a smidge more. You've straightened that one out rather too quickly, I think. There we go, that's it. Yep, yeah, that's looking all right. To about there, and then a bit higher. And then we're going to need to go this way, and then that's lovely. Or is it? Say it's lovely, and then everyone will believe you. There we go. How about that? There you go, near enough. Right, and then we pull into another stop. And the other benefit you get from this, of course, is if you manage to maintain reasonable levels of excitement without too heinous a fear level, what you should end up with is a ride that people are going to celebrate, so you can charge a completely obnoxious amount even for fast passes. Not that fast passes aren't an obnoxious amount already, but there you go. Right, no, ease that back some. Get the height right, man. Get the height. Gets it. Yeah, that'll do. And then easing it up. Easen's a word. Be quiet. And back to there. Yeah, do that. And then block section, please. No, that's a trim brake. Why are you not allowing it? Am I not? Oh, you see, we've still got a jaunty angle in play. Alright, no, delete that one. Delete this one. Sort the angle out for Pete's sake. Get that straight. That's it. Now, get this straight. Get the length about on. Yep. Do that. Do this. Push the magic button. Lived by the sea. Right. Shorten. Excellent. Right, and then business as usual. We then crank this thing up to the max. Arguably, that might be more than the max there. Shorten that to mirror the curves that we've got already, more or less. Gently. Hey, camera, why all of a sudden have you gone bananas? I probably pressed a magic camera button somewhere that goes like, so you want to move at bananas speed. I can certainly help you with that. Is it T? Yes, it is. There we go. We are now moving at non-banana speed, which is incredibly sedate. Yep. Right, there we go. See, look, that's, you know, for a first go, I'm not entirely distressed at how this is turning out, you know. Right. No, put banana speed back on it. It was preferable to... where are we going now? What exactly are you... You're centering around the station. What if I twizzle from here? Oh, okay, that's better. Right. Yes, take that one and then shorten it up. Take it over the roof. Yep. And yeah, that's golden. Right. And we're off and rolling. On we go. Yeah, and take the corner, because everybody takes the corner at the same time. Or that's the hope, and that's going to come down to whether I can get these three stations to all release at the same time. And obviously, when I build the final version, all of these will be perfectly parallel. Okay, you can quote me on that later when they're not. But the goal is to parallel that action, which will look quite splendid, especially if the intention being that this is going to go through some kind of rocky, mountainy landscape of some description, and it will look quite special. All right, and then you're going to need to gently. You don't want to spill too much passenger on your way through there. So then we head out this way, do a bit of that, go one further, autocomplete. There we are. Yes. Now then, how does one from here make it so that maybe if I run with 3 trains, no, if I run 3 trains, then number 4, there's got to be some kind of a timing thing. Because otherwise the timing that I need to use is the length of track in between sections. Yes? Right, if we go with done, and then we talk to the operations. So 4 trains would mean that those 3 could be occupied while one's in the station. Except you also have a stopping point here. Now, I'd need to tell that, hold everything, create coaster chain. I know you mentioned this in the last episode, but I'm recording these back to back because reasons. Create coaster chain, make track load, start at the same time, provide loads of blah, 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 and so forth. Press that button. Coasters in chain. This one. Okay. 1 coaster in the chain. Use the multi-section tool to add coasters. What's the multi-section tool? Okay. Alright. Now what? I see. I feel like we might be. Hold on. Triggers. Make a trigger sequence. You can add triggers at track points. Well, let's try that. Alright. Add a trigger. Track trigger 1. Here we go. You come around it. No, you're going to need to back up because that's the one thing I quite like about this is you stick your triggers and it's about, I don't know, is it in the middle? Is it connect trigger to object? No. Let's add trigger 2, which is going to be up, and around, and off here. Now, if I could link these triggers together so that they all go simultaneously, then I'm going to be a very happy camper. Trigger 3, because that's what we want. And then obviously the last one will be the station itself. So then the goal would be we wait until all 3 trains are in the stations here, and then we let fly. Right. That's those 3. Now then, test activation on attached objects. Connect objects to trigger. Can I attach that? Can I attach these? Triggerable scenery? No. I want to trigger the track. Or trigger the launcher. Hold on. What have we got here? Reset event delays. Duplicate. Connect objects to trigger. Can we set a hold duration? Because even if I could just set how long these wait before they let someone go, that would do the job. Because you then just keep tweaking until you've got it right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because as it stands, I'm going to, what I'll end up having to do is just lengthening and shortening bits of track until organically, in inverted commas, I've got it set up to do my bidding. Right, there we go. We're running at max speed again. How many trains have we got on here? 3? 4. 4. So those 2 went simultaneously, but we were just starting there, so I don't think that counts. Oh, and those 2 went simultaneously, and this one's only just behind it. Yeah, okay, all right. I think this could possibly be forced to comply just through lengthening a bit of track. But I had hoped to hold them all in one place so that they were exactly synchronized. All right, so those 2 just went, and that's the second time they've done that. Let's give it another minute and see if it does it again. But, of course, they're all going to be bound by the loading time of passengers. And maybe that length of time will be sufficient that they are all held in one place. No, they won't be. Or will they be? They'll all be held at the top of this drop. No, they won't. One will be held there. The other 2 will manage to get round and get into that one and this one. Ah, that's no good. So you could always add 1 more train, but that would add it onto there. That's no good either. Oh, okay. You know what? It's not actually far off. But that's assuming an immediate load of the final train there. Ha. Right, okay, answers on a postcard in the comments if you'd like to explain to me exactly how to get around this. And what I won't do, because we're not going to get to the final build in the next episode, I'm going to show you the other part of the plan. Although that had hinged on me being able to run 2 trains on exactly the same piece of track. But even so, I'm sure I can come up with something that will work quite nicely. Okay, right. Well, that will wrap it up for this time. This is quite. This is a little better. Let's ride one. Let's ease it off. Let's go with you. I want to ride on you, son. Train. You're not my son. You're a train. All right. Let's keep going until we get a parallel friend. Oh, you know what? This is actually quite compelling. If I could just sync those up, this would be wonderfully compelling. Intriguing. But you can see what I'm aiming for there. Is by trying to get all 3 doing the same thing at the same time. Could be jolly exciting and create quite the visual stimulus. Anyway, that will wrap it up for this time. In the next episode, I'm going to show off the other trick that I plan on applying to this ride, and then we'll start talking about final assembly. So if you've got a suggestion for how I might link these 3 stations to trigger simultaneously, I am all ears and may even act on it. Thank you very much for watching today. Chuck a subscription in my direction if you would be so kind, and be sure to fling a like if you're in the mood. I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Whee! Cheerio.